Follow Trail Seeker Adventures as we head to VMP Park Complex on this November crisp fall day.
It was a chilly morning, but race time, it was prime for some GP racing. What is a GP? Well, it's two 30-minute motos throughout the woods. Yes, there's some scary things in the woods, but let's slide right into it. Round 9 of the Sxcs is in Petersburg, Virginia, at the Virginia Motorsports Park. But first, let's check out the pit cross on Saturday.
Saturday started out with the fun ride, and then we led into the pit bike race. I was able to get to the first jump on both motos and come out with a win, which meant I was the 2021 Pit Bike Championship. 5 ladies lined up for the women's open class, and it was some good battles. We finished out with me on the top. Mary got second, which I believe that was her first podium, if I'm not mistaken. Lindsay got third, Caroline got fourth, and Nancy got fifth. The competition was fierce, the track was awesome, and Trail Pros did a great job laying it out.
Good job, Heidi. So proud of you. Now let's take one lap around the pit bike course. Both Heidi and I share the SSR 150. And this is what it looks like behind the bars on a pit bike race. I've got T-Bone Earl Cycle Work Pro Rider right hot on my trail. What you don't notice is how slick this track is. It's hard packed clay with sand on top. In certain spots which you can't really tell, it's very slick. Earl comes on the inside. I try to check up, go to the inside of him, but he's no first timer. He knows my game, and that's one lap at the last round of the pit cross for the Sxcs. Now let's get back to the big bikes. Once again, I'm running 2 classes here at the GP. This is the 50A class. I'm running my 2020 Beta 300RR once again. We started out on about the 3rd row. Last time we were here at VMP, it was a hangover, and it was a muddy mess. But no problems today. It's going to be a bit dusty on the moto track, but in the woods, it's going to be perfect. The Beta 300 is always a fast starter, and now we're ready to hit the track. Behind me, we have Perry Brown, Richard Hutcherson, and Mitch Piper. I'm going to get you a full first lap and then just hit some of the highlights on both the 2-stroke and the 4-stroke. As I was saying, the GP is 2 30-minute motos. The course is a little over 2 miles long. We'll get about 5 laps on each moto today. The track is mostly sand on the top layer with a little bit of clay underneath. So I expect it to get a little rough. Probably the main thing we gotta look out today, other than trees, is the ruts and the roots. And the roots in the ruts. One thing about a GP you don't have to worry about too much is traffic.
Yeah, baby.
Unless you're in some of the more larger classes. The C class has quite a few riders in their categories. but a GP is usually a little faster, less technical, a little more open, which makes passing a little bit easier. Virginia Motorsports Park has a moto track, but it was very slick. I usually ran out to the corner of the track where the sand was a little thicker, where there was some traction. The layout of the track was pretty cool. We started out in the woods, came out onto the moto track for a little bit, back into the woods, and then we were able to come out here and run through a tight pond section, back out onto the moto track again, and then we got a pretty decent little section of woods, and then back out onto the moto and to the finish. This is the tight wood section. I would call that the pond monster. If you didn't get to see it, we'll come through the ponds. Make sure you check on the right for the scary pond monster. Now we're back out on the moto track. Pretty slick. I'm not doing nothing crazy on the moto track. And once again, in this turn, I would go long into the turn, find some traction, cut back up, which set me up good for the next turn. Over a little step up and back into the woods. The track had several options throughout the loop. The bike was feeling good. I was feeling good. The roots was definitely getting exposed. I'm looking mostly for some smooth trail. The line you just saw me take wasn't necessarily faster, but it definitely was smoother. Heidi spotted out a cool hotline here. The corner had a lot of nasty little roots, but it looked like more than Heidi found the hotline. I used it every time throughout the day. The Sxcs is changed their schedule a little bit this year. Well, I should say next year. This is, as I was saying, round 9, which is the last round of 2021, but it's actually the second round of the 2022 season. This is a GP round 1 of the 2022 season. Was the last round, which was round 8. So that's the 2 GPs for the Sxcs as I am coming in, completing my lap for my first moto in the 50A. But Hangover will be the first cross country of the 2022 race season. That is going to be the first weekend in January. Make sure you check that out. That's going to be at Wacomico in Maryland. It's always a special event. They'll have another cross country and then 2 sprints that will be combined with the US Sprint Enduro weekends. The Sxcs is a 6-race series for the year. That's 2 GPs, 2 cross countries, and 2 sprints. And the next race season, which will be the 2023 season, will be later in 2022. trying to make some passes here. Came in a little hot, made my pass. We had two classes that started in front of the Super Senior A class. We had the college and Vet A class. That must be who we're catching up with. As I've always said, you can't pass somebody by following them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it messes you up. This young man's rolling pretty smooth. I go wide and try to cut to the inside, and looks like I'm coming into home base. Slid out. No big deal. Gotta gather myself back up and try to run him back down. A little tough in the woods, but at least you had like 3 different locations that you popped out onto the moto track to make the passes happen. I'm going to run a little deep, find some sand for some traction. Looks like somebody stole their KTM. Push the button and get it going again. Not sure if anybody else was running the motocross turns into the deep.
Thank you.
This nice young man let me through. Coming into Heidi's hotline. Even it was getting a little rough by the end of the day. This was one of my favorite parts of the track, even though it started getting a little rough, but it's pretty fast. Back out on the moto track for the last time in Moto 1. There's a little double here with the 2-stroke. I was a little hesitant to jump it, I've jumped that jump many times, but it was so slick to get stopped. And I really wasn't needing the extra second to jump it. Now it's time to come over. Heidi is the next moto, so I'll come over and give her a little race update.
Pretty good. I got first.
And now it's time for her to hit the track.
Pretty same, it just gets choppier.
Sunday is race day, and for this day it's the GP. We have a 2-moto format. This is round 9 of the 21-year series and round 2 of the 2022 series. Anyways, I was able to pull the championship for the Sxcs series, so I'm pretty excited about that. And on this day, I was able to get my whole shots in both motos and my beta 300 X-Trainer was right on the money. I watched Andrew throw the flag, and my bike hooked up, and I was on the gas. First moto, I got second place, didn't do too bad. Unfortunately, the second moto, going into the woods, I decided to leave out and take a handlebar to the side. But I gathered it back up and finished second for the day in the women's 40 class. Great trail by Tro Pros, always a good time. The trail had a few tight sections, some motocross sections, and some flowy fast sections. In my class, Lori got first, I got second, and Olivia got third. But this track was great, and I had a really fun time.
Must have hurt her leg.
Looking forward to the hangover, which is the first weekend of January, for the banquet and the hair scramble. It never disappoints.
You okay?
I took a hard crash when you first go in that straight line, that stupid bean patch, whatever, and I just slid out and bam, and holy crap.
On the first lap?
First lap.
Oh,
First time
really?
everybody passed me, and my class. I mean, so sore. I thought it broke it. That's how hard it hit. And the guy was like, I had to push off, and the guy took my bike where I was like, no, I gotta finish this.
Look, he's missing a fender.
There was a guy out there hurt pretty bad.
Oh, really?
The guy
Oh,
out
I
there
seen the
hurt.
ambulance
Dan
there.
helped some guy. I see his bike, but I don't know what happened to the guy. C-Class is just crazy.
What's up, Dan?
I was in that bunch of stock. It looked like you had him, so.
Yeah, he had one of those kick-ups, and the whole front end just, I mean, he saved going over.
Now it's time for Senior A 40 Plus on the 430 RR. It's a slow starter, but once I get her going, I really like the feel of the 2020 Beta 430 RR race with KYB forks, completely stock other than a extended bladder in the rear shock. I've got to say the 430 4-stroke definitely feel better out here on the track. I'm going to get you most of the first lap. I'm not going to, I think I cut out some of the moto track, but just give you a feel of what the 430 sounds like out here on a GP. This is the first moto on the 40A, and we were the first line, so we'll not be catching any traffic until maybe the last lap. So it's a little boring to watch as far as jockeying for position. Physically on the overall, I think I finished physically in the overall, but I think there's a young man that caught me with the time adjustment. Coming back out on the moto track, this turn here was tricky. It had nice sand, but I don't think I hit the same way one time. The rest of these turns I pretty much was consistent. I was able to get a little rear steer here, hit the brakes, slide it off the hill, get it turned in the right direction. I was hitting the inner line there for a while. Here I had a unique line nobody was really using. I went wide so I could avoid the ruts. There was a left line there, but it didn't look as reliable, I might say, as the upper line. Come through the tight pines again. Mike up here rooting everybody on, I'm sure. There was the pine monster hanging in the tree. Just an another thing you gotta look out for. Now, they had a practice day on Saturday. Well, it wasn't practice, it's considered a trail ride. And we was able to actually come out and ride the track to get some of the leaves burned off of it. And I was doing that step up, but it's kind of sketchy, so the race day I just basically rode over it, rolled it, just keeping it safe. There was a log here. You would have been able to go down a little further left and shortcut it and hop over the log, but that's just extra energy this old man did not want to put out for the day. Had my left line here cutting over to my right line, and sometimes I cut to the inside here, sometimes I went around the tree on the outside. We ran this portion of the track the very first time the Sxcs came to VMP, but that was a sprint and we ran it the opposite direction. Some roots through here you wanted to stay right of. Coming down in. Now the hangover, we had a practice over here, and Billy laid down some concrete pillars, and right there I would hit a root to jump out onto the concrete pillars because it had some sharp edges there, which could flatten a tire if you didn't get up over them. A little step up or a tabletop. Not that I was going to make it to the tabletop. The 430, I feel more secure jumping it. As you can see, it was really no big deal jumping it. It was just getting stopped and not looking like a fool and taking out half the ribbon. This is probably going to be my last lap because I don't think I really caught anybody until the last lap. Out into the bean field. It's high and dry today. Started the day, it's probably in the low 30s, maybe down in the 20s. Slow rolling out of bed, no hurry to get out to look at the track or anything because of the temperatures, but when it came time for the race, it was perfect. Nancy taking some photos. Pretty cool little tight section to break up the speeds a little bit. The times we were running, I was running around 5. Actually, I forgot about this. I ran 5 laps, and 4 of the 5 laps was exactly 5 minutes and 48 seconds. On lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, and lap 4 was exactly 5 minutes and 48 seconds, which is absolutely crazy to think about. And then my last lap, which may be catching some traffic and slowed me down a little bit, I was 2 seconds off. I was 5 minutes and 5 minutes and 50 seconds. I was second overall. Physically, I took the checkered, but Jacob Thomas in the 150B class caught me, and he beat me by 3 seconds. Come over, Heidi was ready to take off. She did her second moto, and now I'm back on the 300 for my last moto in the Super Senior 50A. And on this lap, I'm just going to show you some highlights. Let's look at the times that I was running with the 300. As I was saying, I was running 5 minutes and 48 seconds on the 4-stroke. And I was a little bit slower on the 300. I was 5:48 on the 4-stroke, but on the 2-stroke I was running a 5 minutes 52, and then a 6:04, then a 5:58, 5:54, and then a 6:04. That's on Moto 1. On Moto 2, which I slowed down a little bit. I was starting to get a little tired. And to be honest with you, my booty was a little sore from something. I don't know if I bruised it or what on the pit bike race. But I was running a 5:57, 5:59, 6:01, 5:59, and a 6:02. Not a lot slower. I thought actually my times on my second moto was going to be a good bit slower the way I felt. But now it's time to jump back out here on my last moto on the 4-stroke. I finished first on the 50 Super Senior A. Matthew Arnold jumped out and for the whole shot. He's on a beta as well, but he is on a 200 RR race. Looking pretty good. Came up with a new line right here. Surprised nobody's seen it throughout the day. Not really that much faster. That's probably why. I think he got a little scared. Heard the big 430 coming through. Backed out of it a little bit. Absolutely loved the 430. Out here on the VMP Raceway. Let's see what the my lap times were on Moto 2. As you remember, my first moto, I was 4 laps out of the 5 at 5 minutes and 48 seconds. My last one was 5 minutes and 50 seconds. This one was a little slower. Probably because I'm old and I got tired. But it was 5 minutes and 59 on lap 1, 5:56, and then 5:57, and 6:01, and then 6 even. Track was getting a little rough in certain areas. I was getting a little tired. Had an absolutely blast here at round 9 or round 2 Sxcs. Depends on what year you're racing. But if you've never ran a GP, you definitely need to check it out. Especially if you've not been on a bike before for a while, or if you're a first timer, or if you're a moto guy that wants to come out and try the woods. The GP is a perfect opportunity to get out and hit the track. We are Trail Seeker Adventures, and that's what we do. We come out to the track or race event or a ride park. No matter what we do, if it has a trail related, whether we're on a mountain bike, if we're hiking, snowboarding, whatever it is that we do, we bring the camera out, give you as much information about the series, the ride park, whatever it is we're doing, so that way you can see if it's something for you and you can load your bike up and know that that's what you're getting into before you even get off the couch. We've been to several race series: GNCC, US Sprint Enduro, Sxcs, Mountain State Hare Scramble, New East Coast. We're hoping to hit some different ones maybe this year. Looks like in July, might be able to go hit Tough Like Roar, try that out this year. But make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. I know sometimes I'm not the most entertaining person to listen to. I don't exactly enjoy doing the videos. I don't mind videoing my events, but sitting behind a computer for 4 or 5 hours, not my cup of tea, but I do it to help you all find something that's suitable for you and your family to get out on the trail. Make sure you try out the Sxcs Cross Country Hangover. It's going to be the first weekend in January. If you happen to make it, make sure you come over and say hey. Both Heidi and I had an awesome time here at the last round. I was able to take home the win for the Foodie Senior A as well. But thank you so much for watching. It's been an awesome year racing the Sxcs, and thank you all for watching.
It's that time of day again.
You can hit the subscribe button in the middle or watch our next video. Thank you.